Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to discuss the reason why I think we do not see a plethora of flight sims like we used to back in the day. And back in the day, I mean the 90s. So about a year ago, Enigma, the creator of the Cold War server, he originally touched on this subject about a year ago. I've been meaning to post my own video about this topic, but I had some other reasons that sort of got in the way that I'll briefly touch upon. I think the main reason being that I had other ideas that sort of popped into my head for videos, so I sort of did that first, and it just kept getting pushed back, pushed back. And the second reason was I really did want to do my research, and that meant contacting these how do you call them? These aircraft makers, right? So I reached out directly to Lockheed Martin because I'm a big fan of the F-35, F-22. So I reached out to them. But another thing that's funny, I think one reason I just never forgot about this topic, and I knew I would get to it sooner or later. And the main reason is because when I was younger, just like Enigma, and I'm gonna date myself here, I grew up playing flight sims. Not That's not the only genre I played, but flight sims was one of the major ones, right? But back to flight sims. The early flight sims from the 90s, I just vividly remember using my keyboard and mouse to control my plane. They also had these little cardboard cutouts that you could put over your keyboard. I don't know if anybody remember those little overlays. And basically you could see what each key mapped to because we couldn't click on the cockpit. I can't remember any sim having that feature. You basically had like all these different key binds on your keyboard. It was wild, man. It was really wild. That was kind of like the dark age of Sims in one way because we did not have HOTAS. There was no track IR. There was no VR. All that stuff I love. All my HOTAS equipment, my throttle, my rudder pedals, all that stuff. I did not have it. I had my mouse, my keyboard, my monitor, and my old, like at the time, Amiga 500. That was how I rode. I also remember, which is funny because because DCS still doesn't have this feature, which is mid mission saves. I know Veto VR has it, but yeah, DCS doesn't have it. But those old flight sims, I remember they didn't have that feature. So at least the ones I played, because I remember I would take off, go blow up some targets, whatever, and I would fly. I'll be returning back. I did not know how to land, man. I did not know how. I would try my best, and I would just blow up, man. It would be so frustrating. I would lose like an hour or something. It was just nightmare. But I still kept trying to play them. I remember going to my friend's house. I could just rant forever about that. Back to Enigma's video, which I will link to in the video description. I really enjoyed it. But what surprised me about the video, there was one important detail I kind of thought he omitted. I'm not sure if it was oversight or he just didn't get into like the script, or it was just, it just wasn't important to him. But at least from my angle, I really want to hit this important pivotal fact. I think it's very important, a reason why we don't see very many flight sims in this day and age, in my opinion. In order to perfectly describe from my point of view what's going on, back in the day, a very, very long time ago, back before 2000, around 1997, there was a company called Interactive Magic that completely developed an F-22 Raptor game. It was completely developed and finished. However, Nova Logic had made a deal in that same year with Lockheed Martin for their own F-22 game. This was the beginning of, I would say, copyrights for Flight Sim, right? And what I mean is you had to go to that manufacturer before you could use the likeness of that specific aircraft, vehicle, plane in your video game. Before that, it was free for all, right? Developers, they could just put their game out there. They did not have to pay a royalty fee. I reached out to Lockheed Martin about their licensing terms. In general, if you're making a commercial product that you plan to sell, you'll need to pay royalties plus, you might have to pay an advance fee. I say might. This all seems to be like stuff that you can negotiate with them. And I haven't finished this entire process. I just been just talking to them just to find out like in general what you have to do. And this makes sense to of us all, right? In this current era. Because we're used to like, yeah, of course, if I want to use like a Porsche, right? If I just want to use like a Porsche or Ferrari for my video game, of course, I have to reach out to that manufacturer to get the licensing, make some sort of agreement, right? So I can use their intellectual property. Okay, before we wrap this whole topic up, I want to mention the newer sim arcades like Veto VR, Project Wingman, and Nuclear Option. I put up content for all three of those. Not as much as I would like, but I have put up content for all three games because I'm a big fan of those. And what I want to drive home is these games all use fictional designs so they can avoid paying the licensing fees. I personally think that's the best way for indie devs to get their feet wet. One nice bonus too, in the case of Veto VR at least, is what we've been seeing is fans can add their own aircraft, like the recent F-16 mod, and this way, because obviously modders they can avoid paying the licensing fees since they're not selling their mods, they're giving it out for free. And if you look at the terms for like even like Lockheed Martin and so forth, like if you're not charging any money, then you're it's basically free for all. All right, hopefully you found this video informative. It always surprises me how long sometimes these videos go. When I'm recording these videos, I always try and take the time to script these out right. And when I write the script, I'm just like, oh man, it's only like a page. This video be like so brief, and somehow a lot of times these videos go. Sometimes they just go like 4 minutes, 7 minutes. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's another reason I like to put chapters in these videos. Anyways, hopefully you found it informative. Informative. I didn't ramble too much. I appreciate it. If you hit the like button, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching the video and fly safe out there. Goodbye.